Have you ever done something instinctively without thinking too much and then realized that you had taken a much bigger risk than you ever imagined? Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our stories. It was a gloomy, rainy morning as Ricardo, a successful businessman, hurried through the city streets, worried about being late for an important meeting. He was dressed in a smart suit and clutching a briefcase, trying to avoid the puddles that formed on the sidewalk. As he turned the corner, something caught his eye. Under a ramshackle shelter, he noticed a young woman in shabby clothes holding a small child in her arms. The child was crying, and the sound of his cries was mixed with the sound of the incessant rain. The woman, visibly exhausted and pale, was trying to shield the child from the drops falling from the shelter. Ricardo paused for a moment, torn between the need to get to his meeting and the urge to help this stranger. Finally, he decided to approach her. "Do you need help?" he asked in a gentle voice, almost drowned out by the sound of the rain. The woman looked up, her eyes filled with desperation and a faint hope. Without thinking further, Ricardo took the keys to his apartment from his pocket and handed them to her. "Take these. My house is nearby. Stay there until the rain stops," he said quickly, giving her directions on how to get there. Then he ran away. During the business meeting, Ricardo's mind kept wandering to that woman and the child. He wondered if he had acted too lightly, entrusting the keys to his house to a complete stranger, but he felt deep down that his gesture had been the right one. When the meeting finally ended, Ricardo hurried home with a mixture of anxiety and curiosity. He opened the door of his apartment with a sense of uneasiness. The scene that presented itself before his eyes took him by surprise. The apartment, usually tidy and impersonal, seemed transformed, lived in. The woman he had helped now looked at him with a shy smile. She was wearing one of his shirts, which was loose on her, and the child, asleep in her arms, seemed finally at peace. The air was filled with the delicious smell of freshly prepared food, and the table was carefully set. "Good evening," she said softly. "I didn't know how to thank you, so I thought I'd cook you something. I hope you don't mind." Ricardo was silent for a moment, then a genuine smile played on his lips. "No, not at all," he replied. "You've done much more than I could have expected." Over the next few days, Ricardo got to know the woman, whose name was Elena, and her baby, Luca. Elena told him her story. She had escaped an abusive relationship and found herself on the streets with no one to turn to. Touched by her courage and strength, Ricardo decided to lend her a hand. He found her a small apartment and a job at one of his partner companies. Over time, a sincere friendship developed between them. Ricardo began visiting Elena and Luca regularly, bringing small gifts and enjoying their company. As time passed, he realized that his feelings for Elena were evolving beyond friendship, but he didn't know how to express his feelings. He feared that declaring himself would complicate everything. One day, he decided to take courage and face his feelings. He bought a bouquet of flowers and went to Elena's house. When she opened the door, Ricardo smiled and handed her the flowers. "Elena, since I met you, my life has changed in ways I never imagined. You and Luca have brought a joy and meaning that I never thought I could feel again. I never want to spend a day without you again. Will you marry me? Are you enjoying this story? Before you see how it ends, subscribe to our channel and activate notifications. Elena was struck by his words, and after a moment of silence, her eyes filled with tears of happiness. "Yes, Ricardo," she replied with a radiant smile. "Yes, I want to marry you." A few months later, they married in an intimate ceremony in the garden of Ricardo's country house. The garden, adorned with colorful flowers, was the perfect setting for their special day. Elena walked towards the altar with Luca at her side, while Ricardo watched with growing emotion. The two exchanged vows of love and gratitude, promising to stay by each other's side forever. Their life together was full of moments of happiness and challenges overcome, always united. Elena, with Ricardo's support, managed to graduate with honors, realizing a dream that seemed unattainable. Ricardo, for his part, found a new balance between work and private life, discovering a happiness that he never thought he could experience again. One day, Ricardo decided to surprise his family with a vacation on a paradise island. They spent enchanting days between white beaches and crystal-clear waters, creating unforgettable memories. One evening, while they were walking along the beach at sunset, Elena looked at Ricardo and said, "I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for us. This life, this happiness, it's all thanks to you." Ricardo hugged her tightly and replied, "You don't have to thank me, Elena. You are my family, my reason for living. I would do it all over again because being with you is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Before I met you, I lived only for work. Now..." And so, as the sun sank to the horizon and the sea lulled their thoughts, they fell asleep happy, grateful for every moment they had spent together. The love that had united them would continue to guide them forever, overcoming any obstacle and facing together all the challenges that life would throw at them. And you, would you have given the keys to your apartment to a stranger? Write it in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video till the end. See you next time.